Hi everyone, in this video I want to talk about solving absolute value equations. Here are the two problems that we'll do. And to make sure we don't take ourselves too seriously, let's think about our fun question. What is your favorite holiday tradition? So absolute value typically falls under Algebra I, and it's possible that you would need to solve an equation. It could be solving an inequality, and you may or may not see a graph related to this concept. So this video just focuses on solving the actual equations. Okay, so what is absolute value? Well, absolute value by definition is just the distance between a number and zero on a number line. Meaning, like if you had the absolute value of x and that's equal to 5, there are two numbers that would work for x. One is 5. The other is -5. Because the distance between 0 and 5 and 0 and -5 is the same. It's 5 units. Distance is always positive. You can never walk a negative distance. So what we have to remember is that absolute value will always equal a positive number. So meaning like this absolute value of something equals 92. What we have to figure out is what's the x equal to. So we will always have two cases. When this absolute value section is isolated, like in this first one, this is where you have to think of the two cases. Now, right up here, I basically set what's in the inside of the absolute value bars equal to the positive and the negative. But what I could do as a nicer shortcut is just set this equal to both 92 and -92. Now, some people might take this part, whatever's in the bars, and make that part the positive and negative case. I just think this is easier to say, let's just drop the bars for case 1. And then instead of making the inside negative, let's just make the 92 negative. Be the same thing as multiplying the whole thing by -1. So you can do that. Okay, so I have two things that I need to solve. And I'm going to just subtract 8 on both sides. So then this will give me 84. And then I need to divide -7. I end up getting -12 as one of my answers. Okay, so that means if I threw in -12 right here, I would end up getting, 84 plus 8 is 92. The absolute value of 92 is 92. Then for this one, subtract 8 on both sides. I get -7x equals -100. Divide both sides by -7. And I'm just going to leave that as 100/7. It can't simplify any further. Okay, so two answers for this problem here. -12 and 100/7. Sometimes students will get that -12 and then they'll think the other answer here would be 12. We just can't confuse that with this case up here. We are solving here for just that x right there, not this whole, not the whole part that is in the absolute value bars. Okay, so then the second problem here is a little bit more complicated. What a lot of students think in this case is that maybe we could apply the rules of multiplication, like as if there were parentheses around the p-1. But what I want to do here is write a little note that says isolate the absolute value first, because you will not get the correct answer if you just treat the bars like parentheses. So what I'm going to do is add 10 on both sides as if I was just solving an equation and this whole thing was an x or a y or whatever variable. 6 p minus 1 equals 6. I do not want to divide the 6 first. I want to add the 10 first. And that's basically because I wouldn't want to divide this 10 by 6. That would make it pretty complicated. All right, so I'm continuing to isolate the bars, dividing 6 on both sides. We have absolute value of p minus 1 equals 1. And then from there, now we do our two cases because that absolute value is isolated. So here we go p minus 1 equals 1. P minus 1 equals negative 1. And I'm just going to solve for p. Add 1, we get p equals 2. Add 1, p equals 0. So just doing a little bit of quick math, if you throw a 2 in here, you would get 2 minus 1 is 1, times 6 is 6, minus 10 is negative 4, so that works. And then the same would be true for 0. So we're just keeping in mind that we're solving for just this little p right here. We're not solving for the whole absolute value section, like some students confuse. So I gave you here 2 practice problems that are very, very similar. Why don't you pause the video if you would like to wait to see the answers. There are the answers. And notice that the answers aren't like 7 and negative 7, right? It's 7 and negative 5 because we're solving specifically for just that a right there. And then 3 and negative 21 would work for the second one. Okay, lastly, we have a quote. Sandra Bullock says, "The rule is that you have to dance a little bit in the morning before you leave the house because it changes the way you walk out into the world." I love that quote. I think it's true. I think we all need to have a little fun before we start our days. All right, so I hope this video helped you in some way. And if you think of your answer to the fun question, I'd love to see it in the comments. If you would like to keep up with new videos, I would love if you would hit subscribe as well. And have a great day.